Hey everybody, I'm Sophia Parola with the Garden State Film Festival, and here with me are the people behind the making of the documentary feature, Hollywood Priest, the story of Father Bud Kieser. It is so amazing. Congratulations, guys. Thank you so much for being here to talk to us about the documentary.
Thanks for
Thank
inviting
you.
me, Sophia.
So excited to talk to you guys. I would love for you to introduce yourselves first and talk about your title in the documentary. Do you want to start us off, Father Tom?
Sure. Yeah. I'm Father Tom Gibbons. I am the writer, director, and co-producer of Hollywood Priest.
Thank you. And Maria Elena?
Oh, sorry.
No, sorry. Zoom's always, usually I'd be handing the microphone over, but.
Hi, I'm Maria Elena Pineda, and I'm one of the producers, co-producer with Father Tom on Hollywood Priest.
Lovely. And Tom, as writer-director, can you give everybody who's watching a little synopsis about the documentary?
Sure. Yeah. Father Bud Kieser was ordained a priest with the Paulist Fathers in 1957, and then was sent to the Paulist parish in which is a Roman Catholic parish, is a religious community. But he was sent to Los Angeles and happened to be was sent to a parish where there was a lot of celebrities and people in the entertainment industry. And a lot of those people, like the producer of the Leave It to Beaver show, really took a liking to Father Kieser and says, we should put you on TV. And so in 1960, he started this brand new series called Insight, which was one of those anthology series. It was kind of like a spiritual Twilight Zone, and it actually ran for 23 years and attracted some of the biggest celebrities in Hollywood, like Martin Sheen, Bob Newhart. William Shatner did an Insight episode before Star Trek. Mark Hamill did one before Star Wars. Marion Ross did a whole bunch before Happy Days, and just kind of like a who's of 60s and 70s Hollywood. And then from there, got really involved in hunger issues and famine issues in Africa, and then went on to do major motion pictures like Romero with Raul Julia in 1989.
Wow. So many amazing things he's done in his life, and came across so many amazing people, huge big names, a lot of which you have in this documentary, which was like, I wasn't expecting to see that. So what made you think, all right, let's make a documentary about, I mean, obviously his story is amazing, but when were you like, all right, let me make this documentary? When did this all start?
Well, the great thing about Father Kieser is he wrote an autobiography, and I was on a retreat once, and I just brought the book along, and I was just reading along, and then I gave it to Maria Elena. I said, "Hey, you might like this," and I just come to Los Angeles, and Maria Elena was just like, "This might be a good story." So, what appealed to you, Maria Elena? What?
Well, it's just like I had seen Father Bud a little bit at Mass. And, I didn't know him personally, but when I read the book and Father Tom gave me the book, I thought, this is, founder of Paul's Productions, we should do a documentary about him. And also he was such a strong force in the entertainment industry. So it was great to, honor him and show all of his work. And also this documentary is also a historical look at TV, how it developed over the years.
Right. I mean, I can't even imagine what goes into producing a documentary and what goes into making it. You have so many big names, like I mentioned, and there's so much footage, so many stories, I'm sure hours and hours of interviews. How do you produce? How do you know who we're going to talk to? How do you get these people? Like, what goes into producing a documentary like this?
Well, I think one of the first criteria was figuring out who was still alive, because we're dealing with TV in the 60s and 70s. And, and I mean, the list that I just gave, I mean, that's like a fraction of the list. And, I grew up in the 70s and 80s and watched a lot of TV, as I'm one of those Gen X kids who did a lot of that. And, and then I would see this, I would go over old episodes of this series and be like, hey, that's Larry from Three's Company. Oh yeah, they were the murder on a couple of Murder She Wrotes and all that. So we just kind of went down the list and we just said, hey, who's available to interview? And we just started calling people up, and that was kind of how it went. And as many great people as we got to interview, there was a number that we would have loved to, but just it just didn't work out because they weren't with us anymore, or or for that sort of thing.
Wow. And Maria Elena, can you add anything to the producing aspect? Like, how long did that all take just to get everyone together and then filming?
Well, I mean, luckily we were filming before pandemic. So we were able to go ahead and, schedule everything and get to their homes. Luckily, they invited us into their homes and they were very gracious about that. So we were probably shooting about a year and a half before pandemic. And during pandemic, we were basically, in the house and editing and, sending edits back and forth and doing notes. But yeah, it was really a pleasure. It was lovely to meet all these people. And Marion Ross, it was awesome.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine meeting her in person.
Yeah, it's like, we came in and some of our crew was a little bit younger, so they really didn't know about Happy Days. But I mean, we came in and she offered us coffee and, and breakfast. And she said, children, come to the table. And we're like, oh my gosh, Mrs. C is calling us to breakfast. So it was really an honor and a pleasure to meet all these people.
Absolutely. And like you said, like you guys spent the time during the pandemic editing and going through all this footage. How long did the editing process take?
I guess it probably took like about a year. Is that about right, Maria? I mean, I think
with the notes and everything.
Yeah, I think we always kind of knew what the arc of the story was going to be. Like we always knew that because he had a very definitive arc in his story. And I think it was just, because there was such an embarrassment of riches, it was just like what stays in and what stays out, it's I think one of the people who've done a lot of more editing than I have just were saying, hey, whatever, if it serves the story, keep it in, but there's a lot of other great stuff that may not serve the story, and that's what DVD extras are for. It's kind of like that.
Right. And Father Tom, is this the first thing you've ever directed, or do you have a lot of directing experience?
No, this was like my second project. I guess it's like my two projects are a little self-referential, is that they were both about priests. So the Paulist Fathers, it's like a Catholic religious community. So if you're familiar with like the Jesuits or the Franciscans, the Paulist Fathers are like that. We're the first men's Catholic religious community found in the United States. And we're founded by someone named Isaac Hecker. And he was originally a New England transcendentalist. So he was very good friends with Henry David Thoreau. He knew Emerson. He knew Louisa May Alcott, the writer of Little Women, when she was like 13 years old. And so I did a documentary about him, and it was that one took a little place more in the 1800s, and that was kind of like me very much cutting my teeth in the world of documentaries. But obviously I didn't have as much footage to work with. It's more just finding paintings and statues, and looping something together. But it was so in some ways the Hollywood priest story with Father Bud was a great, I felt like it was a really great next step, as in working with film.
Absolutely. And I mean, do you guys have any advice for other people who want to accomplish what you guys have accomplished? I mean, Maria Elena, it seems like this isn't the first thing that you produce. This is just so extensive. I can imagine that you have a lot of hands-on experience with this.
I come from a news background, so it was always instilled in me, find the facts, verify the facts, confirm everything. So it's like, obviously documents are really research intensive. And, that's a lovely thing about documentaries. You keep on searching for what you think is going to be the arc of the story. And then you find these jewels, these nuggets. You're like, oh my gosh, this is great. We can put another chapter of this. Like, Father Tom and I, we would come across things like that. So I would say for like starting out people like who are still in school or just starting out in the industry, get as much experience as possible and just learn your craft. And it's just like nothing is beneath you. Learn everything you can so that when you go out there and start looking for jobs, they can see in your resume that you have these, these skill sets and you've gone through this stuff and you've experienced it.
Love that. Father Tom, what about you? I mean, this is your second documentary, obviously very, very, very successful. What advice do you have for anybody out there who wants to do what you've done?
I think, well, I mean, I would be a little remiss if I didn't say pray, because I know prayer helps out a lot.
I'm sure. Mm-hmm.
With different things. And I think the other one is just do it. I just, you just grab the camera and start interviewing and just know that it's not going to be perfect and just start putting together stuff. Like just do a 20-minute thing, of course, what Maria Elena is talking about is very right. Like you always have to verify the facts. What was great about the Father Bud stories, we had his autobiography. So if we had a question, we just, it's on page 76. There you go. But I think it's just do it. I think it's doing the materials needed to produce documentaries are so much more accessible than they were even 10 years ago, but especially like 20 years ago, that do it, just get, and then just talk to a lot of people who know more than you, and you'll just, take, and then do another.
It's beautiful collaborations and working together. And how did we hear about the Garden State Film Festival?
Actually, we were in our second film festival, was the Newport Beach Film Festival, which we're really excited by. And then we met while we were there at an after party for another film that's at the Garden State Film Festival, Coogan's Way. We met Heather Scanlon, who was at the bar, celebrating Coogan's Way. And we just started talking, and we're both from the same hometown. I was born in Morristown, but grew up in Long Valley. She is from Morristown. So we just started talking, and she said, oh yeah, the Garden State Film Festival. And a lot of our film festivals, just because we're based in LA, had tended to be a little LA centric. But I was like, gotta do something in Jersey. So, it was just a real kismet, situation. So. And I'm thrilled. And actually the film's going to be premiering on my 50th birthday. So it's actually kind of like a neat little
yes, a wonderful alignment. Happy early birthday. And we spoke a little bit before, you will be at the screening, right?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, I love that. Maria Elena, I know you won't be making it to the screening, but how does it feel having this documentary at the Garden State Film Festival and having these audiences see the story of Father Bud Kieser?
When you first do a project, of course, it's always towards like your interest, what you might find interesting. But as we were developing the project, we were hoping that people would like it and connect with it. And we were pleasantly surprised that they have been, because we like to say this is not a documentary about a priest. It's a documentary about Hollywood and a producer who happened to be a priest. Right. And it's really connected with people. And as we're in different film festivals and negotiating with things, we're very, very honored and happy that it's reaching a wide audience and it's touching a lot of hearts.
I am too. I can't wait for the people at the Garden State Film Festival to see this beautiful story. And just like you said, a story of someone who's creative, but also served the poor. And he did so much in his life and touched so many people, and amazing names they could see in this documentary. So thank you so much for all of the work you both did to put this together and for submitting it to the Garden State Film Festival. Thank you to Heather for telling you, Father Tom, to submit it. It's amazing. I love these all like projects coming together. So congratulations again. Let me tell everyone watching how they can watch this documentary. It will be screening at the Berkeley Hotel in the Kingsley Ballroom, Saturday, March 26th in the film block, 3:45 p.m. to 5:15 p.m. So it'll be some wonderful films there, an amazing documentary, and thank you so much for taking some time out to talk to us about what went into the making of it.
Oh, thank you, Sophia.
For having us.
Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful night and best of luck with everything.
Thanks so much.